Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Jnanatimhendasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunditam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaita Savadutam.
Mataji, you have frozen.
We've lost Mataji, I think.
Yeah, she'll come back.
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa. Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Paroti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Vakira Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I messed up with my recitation of these pranam. Okay. So we are studying very, very slowly each and every verse, and I have no choice because you're learning first time, I think, is it? So I have to go very slowly. I'm feeling like I'm doing a daily Bhagavatam class. But I can't rush, otherwise it's of no use. So we are on text, chapter canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 1, chapter 2, we are text 12. Tat Shraddhadhana Munayo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyantyatmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya. So Tat Shraddhadhanaha. Shraddhadhanaha. Seriously inquisitive. So a qualification is given here for whom the Srimad Bhagavatam is meant. It's meant for those who are seriously inquisitive, not casual interests. Casual interest, but seriously inquisitive. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, jnana vairagya yuktaya, pashyantya atmani chatmanam bhaktya shruta grihitaya. So this seriously inquisitive sage or student, he has a qualification or she has a qualification. They're equipped, so meaning that equip meaning an equipment, meaning you should have the it's not just a tool, a certain disposition in your mind. And what are the disposition? It is we have understanding, we have knowledge, and we have detachment. We have the knowledge of the self different from the body. So you're equipped with it. Just like somebody is going to die. Like we can see everywhere. Now, surprisingly, I'm hearing this in India also. You know, people, they deny that they are becoming old. They want to say, no, it's the new young, they say. You are, and everything is breaking apart. They say, no, it's young. So we deny death, right? The change of body. So why? Because of ignorance. We think that everything is this body, so I should hold on. So who this Srimad Bhagavatam is for is someone who's equipped with knowledge, and therefore we have to prepare for death. This whole Srimad Bhagavatam is being spoken to somebody who is preparing for death. So that knowledge, basic knowledge and detachment, meaning that it's going to happen, so let me be detached and let my whole life be detached. So this inquisitive sage or student, Munayaha, Munaya means someone who's a thinker. And Muni is a thinker. So realize that the absolute truth. What is that absolute truth? We spent a whole hour and a half last week. What is that absolute truth? What is that absolute truth? Let's read again then.
Purusha Shakti of Krishna.
Absolute truth. Okay, let's read it. We have to realize, think, we have to read again and again. So realize that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. So after we have heard from the Vedanta, Vedanta Shruti, Shruta, Pashyanti Atmani Chatmanaha, Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya. So after we have heard, what do? We should engage in devotional service. So I think, Rashmi, this passage is going to speak about your question here. So let's analyze and see. The absolute truth is realized in full by the process of devotional service to the Lord Vasudeva, or the person of Godhead, who is the full-fledged absolute truth. So the person, so please write down if you have forgotten what is absolute truth. So the full-fledged absolute truth is the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. All right? Partial realization is what? His Brahman aspect, which is the effulgence of the body of the Lord. This is the Brahman aspect. And the second partial is Paramatma. So the absolute truth consists of Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan Iti, right? Remember? Text 11, the absolute truth has three aspects. As such, Brahman or Paramatma realization, the absolute truth, is but a partial realization. There are four different types of human beings. The karmis, please write down all this so that you'll forget. Just make a note. Four different types of human beings. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Make a little drawing. So who are they? Number one, karmis. Who are the karmis? The fruitive workers, the materialists. The jnanis, those who are seeking for knowledge. The yogis, those who are focusing on Paramatma realization. And the bhaktas, the devotees, those who want to do service for Krishna. The karmis are materialistic, whereas the other three are transcendental. All right? The first class transcendentalists are the devotees who have realized the Supreme Person. The second class transcendentalists are those who have partially realized the plenary portion, the absolute.
You're frozen, Mataji. We've lost Mataji, I think.
Transcend. So four types of people. One is removed as materialistic. All right. Either he's grossly sinful or he's pious, but his aim is material enjoyment. So they worship the devas, they do so many things for material enjoyment. So they're materialistic, so don't even consider them. Now there are three transcendentalists. The topmost transcendentalists are the devotees. Second class transcendentalists are the Paramatmavadis. And the third class is the Brahmavadis. Why? Because they have barely realized the spiritual focus of the absolute truth. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures, the Supreme Person is realized by devotional service, which is backed by full knowledge and detachment from material association. We have already discussed the point that devotional service is followed by knowledge and detachment from material association. Which verse is that? Prabhupada is saying we have already discussed the point that devotional service is followed by knowledge and detachment. Find it in your book. Find it. Which verse? Text 7. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayatyasu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. By rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality Godhead Shri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. If you have missed this class, please go back on the recordings and listen. You see, serious study, the seriously inquisitive student. So if you forget, the only way you can learn, you have to go back and listen to the recording. So we have already discussed the point that devotional service is followed by knowledge and detachment from material association. As Brahman and Paramatma realization are imperfect realizations of the absolute truth, so the means of realizing Brahman and Paramatma, that is the path of Jnana and Yoga, automatically are also imperfect, since Paramatma realization is imperfect realization of the absolute truth, and Brahman realization also is imperfect realization of absolute truth. Naturally, their path also has to be imperfect. Devotional service which is based on the foreground of full knowledge combined with detachment from material association, and which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti, is the only perfect method by which the seriously inquisitive student can realize the absolute truth. Devotional service is not therefore meant for the less intelligent class of transcendentalists. Okay, so let's take this again. So the path of jnana and yoga are imperfect. And they're imperfect, and therefore they deliver imperfect results. Whereas devotional service, which is meaning, why are we engaging in devotional service? Because we have full knowledge. We have full knowledge of who we are, what is the goal of this life, where we are, who we are, what is this material world, what are we doing here, why am I suffering? These are basic questions. And where do I go after this life? These are all questions. And then, is there a creator? Look at this world. Is there a creator? And who is he? What is he? So all these questions are answered. It's meaning the devotee has full knowledge of this. The law of karma, how the law of karma is operating. Devotional service is based on full knowledge, meaning we have this. If you don't have this knowledge, you will not engage in devotional service. You will engage either in sense gratification as karmis, whether papa or punya, or we will try to say, okay, there's so much suffering in this material world, so therefore let me get out. So your only focus is get out without any desire to render service to Krishna. There are three classes of devotees, namely first, second, and third class. The third class devotees are the neophytes who have no knowledge and are not detached from material association, but who are simply attracted by the preliminary process of worshipping the deity in the temple, are called material devotees. Material devotees are more attached to material benefit than transcendental profit. Therefore, one has to make definite progress from the position of material devotional service to the second class devotional position. So a neophyte devotee, a materialistic devotee, so yes, he has some understanding of the Supreme Lord, but he doesn't have, here Prabhupada is saying he has no knowledge. And he's very much attached to material association, but he likes to come and bow down in front of the deities. And maybe he will bring some flowers, some fruits, he will give some donation, right? And that's it. And most probably he's also coming because he has some material motivation. Now, the second class position, the devotee can see four principles in the devotional line. Namely, so please, you have to write down all these, make your own notes. Rewrite the purport. I'm only pointing out the main points. All right? As I'm repeating the main points, you have to do some homework. So another point, so Prabhupada started discussing something else now. Before he was discussing about four types of people. And he says one class is materialist, three class are transcendentalist. And then he said now among the devotees also there are three classes. So one class is neophyte, second class. So he can see four principles in devotional life. So what is he seeing? He's seeing the deity, he's seeing the devotees, he's seeing the ignorant, and he's seeing the envious. one has to raise himself at least to the stage of second class devotee and thus become eligible to know the absolute truth. So we can't just remain, just coming, bowing down in front of the deities and then going and go on with our material life. No. So second class devotee, this is called Madhyam. First class, the third class is Kanishta. The second is Madhyam. So he sees the Lord, but he's also seeing and appreciating the devotees. And he says, oh, this devotee, and he's able to distinguish among different classes of devotees also. And he's able to know, okay, this one is ignorant, and therefore he wants to help the person who is ignorant elevate himself to Krishna consciousness. And then he says, oh, this man is envious. And here he avoids those who are envious. One has to raise himself at least to the stage of second class devotee and thus become eligible to know the absolute truth. A third class devotee therefore has to receive the instructions of devotional service from the authoritative sources of Bhagavad. So now if we don't preach, okay, here so many neophytes come to the temple is packed with people. So if we don't preach, then the third class will never get to know what is what, and he will not be able to elevate himself to the level of second class. So the number one Bhagavad is the established personality of devotee, and the other Bhagavatam is the message of God. So now Prabhupada is speaking about it's a little jumbled up, so you have to figure out what Prabhupada is saying, right? He's speaking of third class, second class, and then he's speaking of the first class. So the first class is a Bhagavad. His name is called a Bhagavad, right? It's called a Bhagavad. And this Bhagavad is Uttama Bhagavad, all right? So there is the Kanishta, there is the Madhyam, and then you've got the Uttama. And so he's called a number one Bhagavad, meaning he's fixed. He has understood Krishna is a person, and I have a personal relationship with Krishna, and he will not move from this. Now, Prabhupada is in between, he's saying that someone who's Kanishta, he should accept instruction from someone who is who's a Bhagavad. The third class devotee therefore has to go to the personality of devotee in order to learn the instructions of devotional service. Such personality of devotee is not a professional man who earns his livelihood by the business of Bhagavad. So Prabhupada is saying that, so we have to be very careful, like in India, people, there's so many vachak, because wherever there is Bhagavad Katha, people flock. They just flock to hear Bhagavad Katha. It's just a culture. But then those who are professional, so they think, okay, this is a good means of livelihood. I remember I was in US actually, and I was giving classes in the temple. So a couple of ladies, they approached me and they told me that they want to learn Bhagavad Gita from me. And then they told me, we will pay you, and I was like shocked. I was totally shocked. So, I'm supposed to be a teacher of Bhagavad Gita, and I'm supposed to be a paid teacher, So, so why? Because people do this. So they want to hear Bhagavatam, so they go. So such a person, a devotee, is not a professional man who earns his livelihood by the business of Bhagavatam. So he recites Bhagavatam and people give him donation. And he earns his livelihood from it. Brahmanas and sannyasis, their means of livelihood is charity. It is charity. But they don't make a profession of reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And what would these people do? They will select only those sections that are good to hear. And they will omit those sections which is not nice to hear. And they will not tell people their faults. They will not correct them. Right? They will only give nice katha. So everybody like them. And will flock and they will sing very nicely also. And when whole katha, I remember, people are so pious, so these Gujarati ladies, what they'll do, they'll remove their golden bangles and put as dakshina. Is it true, Anupama?
Yes, Mataji. Because it is believed that it brings immense punya. So just listening. So they have these certain episodes they say which will give you liberation. Just listening. So people are very.
So, business, big business they do. Such a person of devotee is not a professional man who earns his livelihood by the business of Bhagavatam. So we have to make a distinction between a genuine, a genuine bhakta and a false reciter of Bhagavatam. Such a devotee must be a representative of Shukadev Goswami like Sutta Goswami. So Sutta Goswami became a representative of Shukadev Goswami, meaning repeat as it is and going systematically. So remember now who is speaking. It is Sutta Goswami who is a speaker of Bhagavatam. And he's going systematically exactly the way that Shukadev Goswami spoke. So a devotee must preach the cult of devotional service for the all-around benefit of all people. A neophyte devotee has very little taste for hearing from the authorities. Such a neophyte devotee makes a show of hearing from the professional man to satisfy his senses. This sort of hearing and chanting has spoiled the whole thing. So one should be very careful about the faulty process. So Prabhupada is saying that actually who are running to listen to all these bachap, they are not sincere people. They are not going there to hear so that they can progress. They are only making a show of hearing. Because as soon as you stop telling them they're false, immediately they run away from you. What is the role of the Guru? The role of the Guru is to correct. To correct like a parent corrects, right? So it's not only correcting your paper, your mark sheet, It's not only correcting that. It is personally telling you you're off. You are lazy. You are not serious. You are offensive. The Guru is always finding fault with the student. So then will come out a gem. That's why children are sent to school to develop their character. And therefore, the teacher has to be someone of character. So now, because the hearer is making a show of hearing, and the professional man is reciting in order to earn his living. So this sort of hearing and chanting has spoiled the whole thing. So one should be very careful about the faulty process. The holy messages of Godhead as inculcated in Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, are undoubtedly transcendental subjects. But even though they are so, such transcendental matters are not to be received from the professional men who spoil them as the serpent spoils milk simply by the touch of his tongue. So Bhagavatam is milk. Bhagavad Gita is milk, meaning something very valuable. But if a snake, a serpent will touch that milk, which is so valuable, it becomes poisonous. So comparison is given, even though Bhagavatam is transcendental. But if the wrong person is speaking, he will put in his own venom. He will incite in the hearts of the hearer, usually material desires. Because he will say, you do this, you will get this. I just heard now beautiful katha by Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj on Hanumanji. He has taken a group of devotees to Hampi. So he's in Hampi now, I heard. Learn is Kishkinda, meaning the place of Sugriv.
Sugriva.
So he's telling about, so he's concluding his whole katha that how do devotees worship Hanuman? So he's saying that some people, they accept Hanuman as a god. And so they worship him as God, as a god, right? And they have material desires, or they want to be free from, because from influence of the grahas. So they worship Hanuman to become free from the grahas. They say, but devotees, how do they worship Bhakta Hanuman? They want to serve Ramachandra like him, right? That's why they're so attracted by Hanumanji, Dasya, right? So they want to know how, without hesitation, he does each and every work. Right? So a sincere devotee must therefore be prepared to hear the Vedic literature like the Upanishads, Vedanta, and other literatures left by the previous authorities or Goswamis for the benefit of his progress. Without hearing such literatures, one cannot make actual progress. And without hearing and following the instruction, the show of devotional service becomes worthless and therefore a sort of disturbance in the path of devotional service. Unless, therefore, devotional service is established on the principles of Shruti, Smriti, Purana, or Pancharatra authorities, the make show of devotional service should at once be rejected. An unauthorized devotee should never be recognized as a pure devotee. By assimilation of such messages from the Vedic literature, one can see the all-pervading localized aspect of the person Godhead within his own self-constantly. This is called samadhi. So the result of hearing. So hearing is naturally devotional service, Shravanam, right? 9 angas of bhakti. So it starts with Shravanam. Now there are 2 types of Shravanam. One, the way we are doing right now, Shravanam in order to understand who we are. All right? Understand, I gave the whole list. Who we are, what is this material world, what is karma, what is time, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, etc., etc. This is Shravanam. All right. Now we will get into another level of Shravanam. What is the Shravanam? Now, after I have understood all this, I'll become eager to hear the Katha of the Supreme Lord, His Leela, His Guna, right? His family members, His friends, His relatives, His gopis, His gopas. So this is another level of Shravana. So in this passage, Prabhupada is speaking of the false people who are making a show of that they like to hear Bhagavad Katha. But they hear Bhagavad Katha, they come home again, they are drinking their tea and coffee. Right? If they're not drinking their rum and whiskey and wine, I don't know. Right? And eating their chicken, mutton, right? And making all plans how I can earn more and more and more. This is making a show of hearing. All right. And then there is the neophyte devotee who is not interested in hearing. So what is he interested in? He just wants to come down and offer obeisances to the deities. All right. And he has, that's why most of our devotees are not interested in reading the books. They don't read the books. Just see how many of us are here, right? So here, including, we have 7 of us, right? So they are not interested in reading the books or hearing systematically, seriously, right? So they remain neophytes. Those who want to make progress, they sit down and they hear. So now when we're saying they're worshipping the deities, so okay, so they will bow down and maybe they may even be a pujari. All right. They may even be a pujari. Right? Across India, there are so many pujari, but they may be neophytes. So how do we know they're neophytes? Because they quarrel with others. They don't appreciate the other devotees. They only see the faults of the devotees. And they don't take the trouble to sit down and learn who is a devotee. Believe me, this is a great science. When you come out fresh from the material world, you can't figure out who is who, what is what, even as you enter the Sangha of devotees. We had to learn systematically what is a devotee. So I hope all of you are not attending only 1 hour class here. I hope you are in some Sangha and you are learning. Because it's impossible for me in 1 hour in a week to give that knowledge. It's impossible. It has to be your daily practice. So we hear, and then when we hear, naturally you want to do service. Naturally. You want to do something practical. Here Prabhupada says, a 3rd class devotee therefore has to receive instruction of devotional service from the authoritative sources of Bhagavad. So the more you hear, the more you want to preach. The more you want to give people the book. And when you feel helpless, hopeless, you can't convince someone to say, please take Prabhupada's book, you read. Otherwise, argument will go on indefinitely, right? So he said, please, if you manage to convince somebody, take this book and make him read, you're successful. And then Prabhupada is explaining more and more that without hearing and following the instructions, the show of devotional service becomes worthless and therefore a sort of disturbance in the path of devotional service. So what is this devotional service? Arjuna is doing devotional service after he has heard. Maybe it takes 45 minutes or 1 hour. After he has heard Krishna speak, 18 chapters, right? 700 verses, 700 points. Arjuna picked up his Gandiva bow and he fought. Right? He's engaging in devotional service. Hanuman didn't have to come and sit and hear anything. He was only Rama, right? He came to serve Rama. All right. He didn't have to be convinced by hearing philosophy. Whereas we are sitting, convincing us you are not the body. Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead. Just heard one lecture. Prabhupada is saying that everybody has to work to earn his living. All right? Everybody must work to earn his living. And then he says, even in the spiritual world, you have to work. And he's saying, what is it? He said, because the soul is active by nature. All right, the soul is active. So if we put all of us sit down and chant 64 rounds every single day, or 128 rounds every single day, are we going to do it? Are we able to do it? Chanting is devotional service, is the primary devotional service. Right? Are we Haridas Thakur? That we are able to sit down and chant whole day and whole night long? Believe me, you will put down your beads. For one day you will chant 64 rounds. Next day you will say, yesterday I chanted 64 rounds. And today you want to do other things. Right? So therefore there are 9 angas in devotional service. Varieties in devotional service. So right now we are studying philosophy. To become convinced that Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, to become convinced that there are 3 levels of realization of the absolute truth, to give up the idea of being a Mayavadi, a Brahmavadi, or a yogi who is focused on Paramatma and you're happy about just visualizing the Paramatma and you don't do any seva, to convince us that beyond Paramatma is Bhagavan, and this Bhagavan is so relishable, why not cook for him? Right? Instead of just contemplating, oh, he's so beautiful. He's so beautiful. If all of us, we come to the temple and the only thing we do, we only say, oh, Radha Ras Bihari, oh, Landanishwari, how beautiful you are. We just spend our hours and hours. Is it okay? Pick up the broom and clean the temple room, right? People are going around, give them a book, talk to them. So devotional love is full of activities. Full of activities. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vandanam. Yes, so we recite prayers. We recite prayers. So some people, their life is only about recitation of prayers. And they're happy to do it. They do it. Maybe they do it for 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. I don't know whether 24 hours they can recite prayers. I don't know. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Swaranam, Vandanam. Archanam, Archanam. You just take a check. How many pujaris have survived as pujaris their entire life? Doing only one service, pujari service. Ashwini, you are in Mayapur? You are in Mayapur? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell you one devotee. I came in India in 91, right?
Uh-huh. Uh,
There is one pujari who every single morning is on the altar, Radha Madhav.
yes, Mataji. Even I have seen him
You know his
for
name. Entire life, meaning now, 91 till today. He's still on that altar of Radha Madhav.
oh yeah, I heard stories about him actually. He's very dedicated.
91. I don't know when
Oh
he
my God. I saw him for last 5, 6 years, but I didn't know. He's from
went
91. My goodness. That's a
with
long time.
without fail. This is one pujari. Alright? How many pujaris have survived?
Mm. Very humble. That Pujari is very humble.
And oh God.
It was frozen for me. Oh, it's okay.
I'm losing my connection. All right, so I have given you an example of someone who is pujari entire life, but these are rare. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Swaranam, Vandanam. Distributors. How many devotees are till date distributing books entire life? So if you go to Los Angeles, you will find Prabhupada disciples. From the day they were born in ISKCON till today, in their 70s, they're still out distributing books. How many have survived? How many wanted a change of service? They are grihastas. Not all of them are brahmacharis, they're grihastas. One devotee, he was in a wheelchair. I don't know what happened to him. He was in a wheelchair, not only a wheelchair, he was like lying. He was still distributing books. In a Los Angeles temple, I saw him. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Swaranam, Vandanam, Archanam, Dasyam. I'm speaking of Dasyam now. Pada Sevanam. Let's take pilgrimage. Padyatra, Vrajmandal Parikrama, Lokanath Maharaj. There's one devotee here, Varaha Rupa Maharaji. She hasn't missed a single Vraj Mandal Parikrama. Her body is completely broken. She doesn't miss one single Vraj Mandal Parikrama. Pada Sevanam. How many are doing it or able to do it? I'm giving you all those rare devotees. Atmani Vedanam, Sakyam, Sakyam. Our Guru Maharajas are Sakyam. They are Krishna's friends. Why? Because they want to propagate. They want to propagate this Krishna consciousness. They don't give up. They don't give up. Even their old age, they're still doing. Right? Atmani Vedanam, they completely surrendered. Good or bad, they surrendered to Krishna. Our Guru Maharajas, they surrendered. Things happen, but they are surrendered. This is devotional service. And without hearing, following the instruction, the show of devotional service becomes worthless. And therefore, a sort of disturbance in the path of devotional service. So only chanting and crying, oh Krishna, oh Madhava, oh Radhe, is a disturbance in society, worthless, and therefore a sort of disturbance in the path of devotional service if you don't pick up that broom and clean the courtyard of Srimati Radharani. Our acharyas, this is what they were doing. Prabhupada, when he was in Bhajan Kutir of Rupa Goswami, he was picking the broom and brooming the courtyard. This is devotional service. So devotional service, Prabhupada writes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is not sentimental. It is enthusiasm to do something for Krishna. If we want to know what is devotional service, so we can just look at the spiritual world. We look at Vrindavan. What are the gopis doing? They're cooking, cleaning, washing, right? That's their own work. They're taking care of the cows. Doing something. And while they're doing all this work, they are chanting Krishna's names. Our Harinam and their Harinam is different. Our Harinam is for purification of heart, whereas their Harinam is spontaneous attraction to Krishna. They want to take the name of Krishna. All the gopis of taking the name Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. As they are doing their work, they are taking Krishna's name. And they're hearing and they like to hear what Krishna has done today. Every day, whenever Krishna comes back from Govardhan, from the pasturing ground, immediately all the boys will tell the story what happened during the day. And all the gopis are hearing. They're hearing the Leela. And then what do? They will get all those poets. They will put some rhythm in it and they will sing the songs of Krishna. All right, so any question of this? So this is Samadhi. By assimilation, okay, let's read it again. Unless, therefore, devotional service is established on the principles of Shruti, Smriti, Purana, or Pancharatra authorities, the mixture of devotional service should at once be rejected. An unauthorized devotee should never be recognized as a pure devotee. By assimilation of such messages from the Vedic literatures, one can see the all-pervading, localized aspect of the personality Godhead within his own self constantly. So by assimilation of such messages from the Vedic literatures, one can see the all-pervading. Just see what Prabhupada is writing here. So he's saying that when you do devotional service, automatically you are seeing the Paramatma in your heart. When you're doing external devotional service, all right, internal and external both, you are seeing Krishna in his form, you are seeing him inside, and you're seeing how he's spread everywhere when you do devotional service. In devotional service, all three aspects of the absolute truth is present and is visible to the devotee. This is called samadhi. All right. Any question?
I'll have to re-listen to it because I missed bits because I couldn't hear you properly. So I'll listen to this recording again and take
Actually,
notes.
yeah, it broke off a couple of times.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I'll re-listen and then make the notes, I think.
Mataji, Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hari bol. Mataji, sorry, I could not keep camera on because I'm not able to do time management on Saturday. You explained, thank you so much. You answered my question. I've really nicely you answered this last 15-20 minutes. I think my question was only answered. But Mataji, my question is also, so some, like suppose there are some devotees, they are attending a class like your Srimad Bhagavatam class. Then that devotee will tell me, Rashmi, I'm not able to attend Mataji's class today. I have got seva. So then, so can you make notes for me? Then I told her, but hearing is also seva, no? So why you are going for that other seva when you have Srimad Bhagavatam class? Why you are doing that other seva? She said, no, I have to dress the deities. I have that seva today. So then Mataji, um, in such a situation, what is it like?
Yeah, so that happens to all of us. Like we have to do some deity service at the same time. A class is going on, right? So, see, if you live in the temple, then you are hearing the class even as you are doing the deity service, right? Like even in the kitchen, they used to put the this loudspeaker, in the kitchen, so that even while we are doing the services in the kitchen, we are listening to the class. I mean, if you're in the temple, and if you have the option now, if you're not living in the temple, now if you have the option, then select a date when you're free, meaning that Saturday 6 o'clock, so you have this, okay? So if you feel, I mean, this is important, right? Because without hearing and learning, we can't do our service properly. We just heard it. Neophytes who have no knowledge and are not detached from material association, but who are simply attracted by the preliminary process of worshiping the deity in the temple are called material devotees, right? So if we will only do the deity services, but we don't learn the philosophy, right? So, okay, maybe we miss this one class, but maybe there are many other classes that we are attending, right? It doesn't have to be this specific class, right? So maybe there are many other days, but the point is that we must hear. And if this is valuable in the sense that maybe there is more detail, I don't know, whatever, then we select a day for our deity services that doesn't clash with this. Is it okay? Oh, yeah. So if you're already attending so many other classes and missing this one, what's the big deal, right? You can listen to the recording, right? So now, who are those who will listen to the recording? those who actually want to learn, right? Just like I listen to many classes, whole day I'm listening. And why am I listening? Whole day in the sense that, when I'm doing my deity service, I'm listening. And then when I'm taking prasadam, I'm listening. Meaning that if I'm having prasadam 3 times in a day, at least half an hour I'm listening, right? And that's how I learn. And beside learning my whole life, I'm saying that today I'm still listening. Like, I just love hearing the katha of Hanumanji, even though I've heard, bits and pieces here in Hampi. Oh my God, Maharaj is saying this is Kishkinda. Can you imagine how I hang on to that class? And then I wanted to see the places where they're going.
Mataji, can I ask you, is
Yeah.
it okay to listen? I thought you're not supposed to listen to Katha when you're eating or doing anything. You have to be attentive when you're listening.
I'm hearing Bhagavad Katha. I'm not speaking, right?
No, even listening, but is it okay? I
Of
thought you're not supposed to
course.
eat. Is it okay to eat and listen? Okay.
Of course, when we join the temple, so there was one thing that was going on regularly. That was you're serving prashad, and somebody will be reading a book. Somebody will be reading a book so that we don't talk. Right? Otherwise, you're just gossiping. Instead of eating, you'll be gossiping. Yeah, I don't know from where this idea comes that when I'm taking prasadam, I shouldn't hear. Everybody does.
Sorry?
My Guru
I
Maharaj.
couldn't hear you.
Everybody does it. My Guru Maharaj, he's always having his, recording
Okay,
on.
I was under the impression that we can't eat while we're listening to Katha. We have to be attentive. That's what I thought. That's what
Well, I'm
asking.
definitely
Okay,
attentive.
that's good to hear.
I'm taking prasadam. Definitely, my ear is open to hear the katha. Actually,
I listen. I do listen when I'm cooking.
Actually, that's when I'm most attentive, because when I'm moving around the room, I don't hear properly.
Yeah.
But when I'm sitting down, then I listen, I hear properly.
It's just today. I was listening to Katha and I was eating and I thought, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to.
No,
I
you're
should
not doing
listen while I'm
jutha.
eating. Then I stopped.
No,
And I thought,
you're
oh,
not
because
doing
while I'm cooking, I listen.
Okay, right.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're not making the hearing jutha when you're eating. Anyways, prasadam.
Okay.
All right. See, we don't touch the book when we are eating, right?
No,
We
I
don't
don't touch the book when I'm eating. No.
All right. Jutha,
No.
we don't touch the book. All right.
No.
But you're hearing Krishna has given a different method. All right. It's given a different method.
Yeah. Thank you.
The hearing. Anyway, it's not an absolute rule that if I'm hearing, I don't touch the book. But I'm just saying that in like deity paraphernalia, that I don't eat and I touch. I should be suchi, right? So the holy book is like deity in that sense. But it doesn't mean that if I am sick and I'm dirty, I don't touch the book. I hope you get this. All right.
Yeah.
Mataji, it is okay to read Srimad Bhagavatam without taking bath, no? It's okay, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Ye-
okay.
Yes, bhakti, there's no niyam, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we remain unclean, okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Right?
Yes, Mataji.
Twice a day, at least twice a day, you must take baths.
Yes, Mataji.
All right. Morning and evening or afternoon, right?
Mataji, the second bath, even if you have not gone to toilet, even then you must take second.
Of course.
Mataji, weather is so cold.
We get used to it.
Oh, yeah, it's freezing.
When I came to UK, I took bath
Oh, I
twice a
didn't know
day.
we had to have the bath twice. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
when I stayed at the manor, I took
I
bath
wasn't doing that.
twice a day, you know. Some rule.
Oh, I don't do that. In India because it's so hot, but not here in London.
Don't worry, you'll feel
Okay,
fresh.
so we should bath twice a day.
Yeah, you'll feel fresh. You'll feel fresh. So you take in UK, I used to take bath around 4 o'clock, even in Vrindavan. Vrindavan also. Last
Wow.
time of the day is 4 o'clock. Before, it gets, too uncomfortable. And of course, early morning, 4 o'clock, you have to take, no choice. Right? Going to the temple for Mangalarti, 4 o'clock. And evening, I won't take baths after 7 o'clock. I will take bath between 4 and 5 latest. In Vrindavan also. As soon as the sun sets, I won't take baths.
Oh, okay.
But
So what's
if
the
you happen,
significance for having the what's the
for me,
significance of having your second bath?
cleanliness, plain and simple, cleanliness. That's so that I don't fall sick. I'm not too cold, because when the sun sets, then you feel more cold. But I don't know whether the sun set in UK. I couldn't figure out. Whenever I went there, it was always like light. I don't know how many hours the sun sets.
Yeah, it's different on different days, but at the moment it's so cold. It's so cold. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you will feel much better if you take your second bath. Body temperature bath, not cold bath. Body
Yes, even in the morning I don't take a hot shower either. I just take a bath. It's very warm water. Yeah, not very hot. Oh, okay.
All right.
Learning so
All
much,
right.
my God. Listening to so much and learning so much, but it all comes together. I suppose. Yeah.
That's why we are saying
Thank you
only
very much.
bookish knowledge. Bookish knowledge is of no use. Right? The practical has to be there. Yeah, so I'm saying if you're a pujari, then you have no choice. You have to do the undressing in the night. At 7 o'clock, you have to take bath. Right? So it's austerity for the pujaris. Even in UK. Right?
Okay. Right.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
There you go.